Trailer 2 is finally here, and there is a lot in it. Fans have been waiting ever since December of last year, but today our wishes were finally fulfilled. But I bet that there are definitely some things that you have missed or overlooked in this trailer, some of which are relatively important, like the official reveal of Shimo and Mothra. Come with me today because I will be doing an in-depth breakdown and covering some of the things that you missed in the Godzilla X Kong New Empire Trailer 2. The trailer opens up with a shot of the Great Pyramids in Giza, followed by some other scenes we saw in the first trailer. Rebecca Hall's character Eileen Andrews says, "For centuries, there is harmony." Then there's a new scene of Godzilla in his evolved form, swimming through a bunch of bridges. This shot of Godzilla with his glowing eyes looks amazing. Definitely a step up from Godzilla vs. Kong. And that water looks so good, like I actually want to be there to drink it. Then Eileen says, the Titans were the guardians of nature, obviously referring to Godzilla and some other major Titans that help keep the natural balance in order. Then she says, the great apes became the protectors of humanity, referring to Kong and other ape-like Titans. We get a nice shot of Kong in the Hollow Earth reaching out his finger to Gia. Kong looks a little scared and beaten up in the shot, so this might take place after his devastating battle with Scar King and Shima, which we actually see a lot of later in this trailer. In this scene, Gia is in the same school we saw from the set photos we got years back. Ashes are falling everywhere as she looks at a clock. Suddenly, the clock bursts into a montage of visions that Gia is going to have at the start of this movie. When the clock bursts, you can actually see 3 pyramids, which foreshadows the pyramid battle later in the movie. Then we get a very quick look at Gia's eye, and there is something in it. It looks to be our favorite and only moth kaiju, Mothra. So, this beyond confirms Mothra's appearance in the film, but what is Mothra's actual role in the film? Well, that is something to discuss in a later video. Then we get a quick look at what looks to be one of Godzilla's new forms that Adam Wingard has of course teased as he's doing a nuclear pulse. Yes, Adam Wingard has teased this in the Empire magazine along with some other details, and you can actually check out the video. I just put it out like a couple days ago. He looks like burning Godzilla, just with the color blue instead of orange. Then we get a quick look at the final battle in Rio de Janeiro, and there is a lot happening. 2 battles can be spotted here. One with both Scar King and Kong, and the other one with Godzilla and Shimo. Yes, we get our first official look at Shimo fighting Godzilla, and he is massive in comparison to Godzilla. I'm so happy that we actually get to sort of clearly see him in this trailer because he looks good. Then a blue explosion happens, which is probably the result of Shimo's frostbite blast. And Gia wakes up, terrified of her visions. Gia then tells Eileen that she is scared of something that is wrong with her. Gia's visions is probably what's going to set up the main plot for this film. We see the seismometer, I keep pronouncing that wrong, scraping, and a quick glimpse of Eileen looking at a photograph. Who or what is in this photograph is yet to be revealed. Eileen says, "We have discovered a signal," and says that Gia can feel it. We get a shot of Kong turning around and looking up at something. This looks pretty early on in the film, so it's probably not Shimo or Scar King. And Scar King isn't that tall enough for Kong to be looking up at him. Scar King is actually sort of just a little bit bigger than Kong. This could be Kong maybe looking at Mothra, but a more likely answer is that the humans are delivering Kong his beast glove. This is because we can actually see someone in his beast glove while flying later in the trailer. Godzilla stomps his foot to the ground, roars, and then goes into the ocean, probably sensing the new threats. Godzilla looks different and more blue and filled with nuclear energy in this shot, so this is probably the start of his evolutionary process, and once he settles in his ice layer, he will evolve into his new pink form. As all this is happening, Eileen says, Godzilla, Kong, they can sense it too. Something is coming, something they are even afraid of. Eileen then asks Trapper, "Feel like going for a ride?" and Trapper agrees to this. Monarch has really upgraded their bases even with more futuristic technology. Then it is revealed that the pool of water the helicopters are flying over is actually a Hollow Earth portal. Trapper, Eileen, and Bernie are in the newly upgraded Heave vehicle, and they travel into this Hollow Earth portal with Kong. This shows how humanity has mastered Hollow Earth travel. Also, yeah, poor Bernie. We then get some scenes that we have already seen before, so I won't really cover them here since I already did in my first trailer breakdown. But we get a really interesting scene of Trapper touching a giant blob thing, and when he touches it, The thing sends out a burst of energy. So could this be Mothra's egg and they are on a quest to hatch it? We can clearly see that in the background of the shots, the pyramids that are from the Iwi tribe place are visible, and that is where they're going to supposedly summon Mothra. Maybe this is Mothra's egg. Trapper then says it's not just a signal, it's a call for war, referring to Scar King in his desperation to start a war. Kong picks up his axe and an extended shot is shown with Zuko looking at the giant ape army. Kong is shown looking behind himself, probably after talking to the other Kongs. All of the Kongs are then shown banging on drums, almost hyping up Scar King's arrival. Scar King then jumps from his throne room, where other Kongs, possibly his bodyguards, are. Scar King and Kong then face off in an epic battle where Scar King seems to get the upper hand on Kong. Scar uses his whip to defend incoming attacks from Kong's battle axe before ripping Kong's arm with a crystal that is placed at the end of his whip. This crystal, according to some plot leaks, is actually what is used to control Shimo. Then Kong looks very scared. Trapper says, "What is that?" as we get a look at Shimo's glowing eyes. Shimo then uses her frostbite blast at Kong. Kong is desperately trying to defend himself with the axe, but instead he slowly gets his arm frozen. We then get another look at Godzilla and Kong running in the hollow earth. A huge tidal wave is shown, but there isn't really any context to this scene. This could just be Godzilla swimming through the ocean, or this could be during his supposed fight with Tiamat. A huge white shot of Rio de Janeiro, where of course the final battle is going to take place, is shown. A huge beam of ice is being shot into the clouds, but who could be doing this? Well, if you zoom in far enough, you can actually see Shimo doing this, and if you look next to one of the cliffs, Scar King is actually looking at Shimo. Scar King is probably ordering Shimo to cause another ice age so that Scar King can wipe out everything on Earth, leaving the world for himself. Bernie, Eileen, and one of the new characters are shown running away from something. Could this something be Mothra since they are in the Iwi tribe place? Bernie says the last time those two met up, it was almost the end for Kong. And we get confirmation that yes, Godzilla and Kong will be fighting again. Godzilla blasts his atomic breath at Kong, slicing through one of the pyramids. It was pretty obvious that Godzilla is very mad here, and he might think that Kong is the one that is causing all of this disturbance. It is clear that this whole fight with the two of them in Egypt will be a huge misunderstanding. Trapper says they don't have to like each other, they just have to work together. An extended shot of the Scar King roaring at the beach is shown, then Kong punches Scar King right in the face, knocking one of his teeth out. Kong looks very mad here, but why? Well, if you slow it down, you can actually see that Scar King is holding Zuko. This makes Kong really mad because, as we know, Zuko is Kong's adopted son in this film. But there is something else that happens in the scene. Did you catch it? Yes, Shimo can actually very briefly be seen in the corner, watching this fight between Kong and Scar King. Maybe Shimo knocked out Godzilla and is trying to assist Scar King in fighting Kong. A scene of Godzilla in a very glowy and blue form is shown as a group of small jets are shown shooting at him. If you look to the right, you can actually see nuclear power plants. According to the leaks, Godzilla goes to a French power plant to charge up before fighting Tiamat. So Godzilla is in France, seeking out more energy and power to get ready for the threats he's going to have to face later in the movie. Godzilla does a nuclear pulse that immediately destroys all of the fighter jets shooting at him. The Iwi tribe are then shown bowing to something, and this something is probably Mothra after they have awakened her. Gia is shown reaching out to a huge clump of lava, and it looks like this is where Mothra makes her first appearance. Zuko then yeets a boulder at one of the apes in Scar King's army in a zero-gravity battle zone. We get a look at when Kong first receives his beast glove. Scar King then uses his whip to tear off part of a building and throws the building at Kong, but Kong uses his beast glove to punch through it, and the beast glove actually emits a sword of electricity power, confirming that the beast glove will have some form of electric powers to it. If you look closely, Kong's metal tooth is actually visible here. So I think he will most likely get his tooth toward the end of the movie, since we didn't really see it in any other shots. The really cool shot of Godzilla and Kong roaring in the pyramids is shown, and then the trailer ends. Now that was quite a trailer, and this really gets me hyped for the movie. They're doing a really good job of not showing too much of the film, but giving us just the right amounts of footage to get us pumped. I have a lot more Godzilla X Kong content planned this weekend and next week, so make sure to press that big red subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!